Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing on this Thursday? If you're like me, you kind of have to guess what day of the week it is occasionally. Most of you by now have probably heard of all this hype of an upcoming snowstorm, blizzard, cold spell. Really depends on what market you are in, what meteorologist you listen to what you hear. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take you through some of the forecast models, numerical prediction. Go through a little bit of what we're seeing on the ground right now. We're still 2-3 days out from the big event, and then we'll end with the official National Weather Service forecasts. I'm not going to be drawing a map live tonight, but I'll try to have one out by this weekend. Although, due to road conditions, I do expect, I do advise preparing, if you haven't already, for a winter storm to occur. But I don't think it's going to be a blizzard at this time. So, without any much talking, let's get to it. Alright, so what you're seeing here is a pivotal weather page. It's a model source. What we're taking a look now at is the GFS model, and let's go into Oklahoma here. So the global forecast system is run by the National Weather Service. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and toggle through the next few hours. And you can see not a lot of precipitation showing up here for the next little while as we get into Saturday. And by Saturday at evening at about 9 p.m., you can see some snow starts to creep into Oklahoma. I don't want you to pay attention to where the exact location is on this. This is just to give you an idea of what time frame we are starting to look at for this event to unfold. So as we move on, you can see it really starts to pick up overnight into Sunday morning. Lots of snow. Let's go back here. I'm going through these models pretty much right now, so you'll get my initial thoughts on these models as well. But if you notice where my cursor is outlining on here, this is what we like to call a dry slot. And typically this is what limits our precipitation a lot in Oklahoma winter weather events. You just get an intrusion of dry air from the southwest U.S., and this really cuts off most of our precipitation many times. Up until now, the models really want forecasting a dry slot, but now we're starting to see them reintroduced into models. So it's something to watch out with and can potentially limit the amount of freezing precipitation that we see. And really, when I say freezing precipitation, we are talking about snow. It's well below freezing pretty much throughout the profile atmosphere in Oklahoma. So as we move on, you can see really snow just hangs over Oklahoma for a while. You get some heavier bands in late Sunday night into early Monday morning. So, and by Monday morning, it moves out, and we'll be dealing with the remap after effects. What ever happens. So what I'm doing now is I am zooming back out to kind of a more regional view so we can get an idea of what the weather is actually doing around us. But first let's take a look at these wind speeds. Actually, let's go back into the Oklahoma view. These are in miles per hour. And so Sunday, you can see winds gusts around 24-25 miles per hour. Nothing terribly crazy. It's definitely a lot of wind, but it's not enough to meet a blizzard criteria in the latest model outputs. So be prepared for blowing snow. It will make visibility hard if you do have to travel. Again, I'm not advising travel on Sunday for sure. You basically have Friday and Saturday to kind of get your stuff together, hunker down for a couple of days, and then the roads should start to improve. Okay, so now that we looked at that, let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures while we're here. So basically, it's been below freezing for the past few days. There's really no signs of that changing as we loop through here. You can see teens into Saturday morning. Really gonna struggle to get out of the teens. Maybe a high of 23 if we're lucky. And then temperatures cool off as that system moves in. We're talking about single digits for lows in the Panhandle in northern Oklahoma. And really not much improvement throughout the day as it will be snowing pretty much all the time. Highs will be in the single digits and teens in Oklahoma Sunday. You shouldn't be out, but obviously if you do, it won't take long to get frostbite in these temperatures, especially if you're not anywhere used to that. And as we move into Sunday, Monday morning, we'll see negative temperatures close to 0 degrees in southwestern Oklahoma, but some areas are single digits. And this does not include a wind chill. Wind chill, if we take a look at it, we're talking about negative teens and negative 20s. Definitely not fun to be out in. Obviously, if you have to, multiple layers, but I don't recommend going outside. Simple as that. So, what do I want to do here? We'll go ahead and the expected one model's expected snowfall amounts. So ranging from about 3, 4, 5 inches all the way up to 16 inches. So don't focus in on any one location here. It's still too far out to say totals. This is probably one of the higher-end scenarios that I'm seeing right now. Just to prepare though, so you could see up to a foot, maybe a foot and a half of snow. It depends on where the band's set up. It does appear to be a banding event. So you may get a lot of snow in one location, a little less in another location. So it will be kind of hard to pin down exact areas. But the good news about all this is when I look at the ice map, no ice. So that's obviously great news. Obviously, we've had several icing events overnight the past few nights. But this will kind of it will be really too cold in the upper atmosphere for this to occur. As we zoom back out to the regional view that I showed earlier, you can see the freezing precipitation. Freezing rain, sleet will be in Texas, well into Texas. Let's go ahead and give you the snowfall for the area. Again, bullseye, right over Oklahoma. That's where we expect the precipitation and cold weather to meet at just the right time. And by the way, if you have any questions during all of this, just pop them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. What do I want to show? We'll show the 500 millibar wind profile basically and heights. So what this shows is basically the mid-level winds and then also how high that pressure is off the ground. And what we can do here is we can kind of figure out what's going to happen a little bit. So you can see gusty winds, 15 knots, so a steady wind up aloft. The one thing that, actually, let's move back before I start getting into all of this. So this is Saturday about noon. As we move forward through time, we start to see the winds still from the southwest come up. steady from the southwest. So where are we getting our moisture from is one of the first questions we will ask, and we'll resolve that in a little bit. But you can see upper atmosphere, steady wind. So we aren't getting our precipitation from the southwest, that's for sure. But what you'll see here is where I'm drawing my cursor. That's what we call a trough. And basically what a trough will do is it causes precipitation to basically lift your water vapor to lift up into the atmosphere and condense and form a cloud and eventually snow. The stronger signal we see in this trough, the more significant precipitation that we can see, can expect to see, the heavier precipitation that we can see. In past models, was kind of seeing what we would typically see for a severe weather setup in terms of hail and winds for sure. Obviously, we don't have the conditions for severe weather. It's going to be too cold, but it does translate kind of to winter weather. So we're seeing a lot of the same key features that we would see. But you can see here as we go backwards 3 hours, this is Sunday evening. You can see this huge trough, which means there'll be plenty of lift for the water vapor to come up over, condense, and precipitate out. So where is our moisture going to come from? Well, what we'll do is we'll take a look at a little bit lower level. Let's look at the 850. This will illustrate it best. As we move back towards Sunday, you can see we have a steady southeasterly flow Saturday evening. So we'll get some moisture coming up from the Gulf. It's not a steady breeze, but it's enough to get enough moisture for the atmosphere to work with, in which that's all we need. We don't need a ton of water for this. So as you can see, as we move throughout time, the winds begin to change. And really, this is when a dry slot will start to develop. You'll see this low over Texas here, by Austin-ish area. I don't know my Texas geography that well. But you can see this flow right here, and that will control exactly where the bands will set up. You want kind of to be on the northern side, northwest side for the highest amount of precipitation to occur. That's just where the moisture and cold air will line up first. And you can see it lifts up throughout Oklahoma, through southwestern Oklahoma. And this is when we start to say, okay, we could see a little bit of a dry slot start to develop. But it quickly moves on out. Tuesday will be dry. Most of Monday will be dry also. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go back to just before the event on Saturday evening. And let's take Oklahoma City for an example. What I'm showing here is what we call a sounding. It's just a vertical profile of the atmosphere. Tells us instead of looking at all these maps separate, we can kind of look at them on their own. And for precipitation, winter precipitation, there's two things we really want to focus on. A, are we below freezing for the profile? Absolutely here. See this blue line to the right? Dash blue line on the green and red? We're well to the left of that. So that means we're below freezing. And then where the red line is highlighted in yellow, that means that there's enough precipitation, or enough moisture in the air, I should say, and it's cold enough that we will get what we call the dendritic growth zone, where snow is basically made in the atmosphere. And the bigger this is, the more snow that can form. So as you can see here, it's pretty deep. Really, normally it's only a couple thousand feet deep, but here it's 14,000 feet deep. So definitely enough moisture, definitely enough snow crystals forming that we have the opportunity to form that we could see significant snow in Oklahoma. Obviously, the question is, will this be realistic? Will it all happen? I think this is a little bit bullish on the precipitation given the previous maps that we have saw. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and confirm this with a different model. We're going to confirm this with the European model, EMCWF, whatever. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, and we're at Saturday evening. Take about the same profile slot. Actually, right now. Pretty similar profile. But in this model, your dendritic growth zone is your 2 to 3,000 feet that we typically see, would expect to see. So that's encouraging that this model might be more realistic in what we will see. Obviously, we'll have to keep monitoring this. The models will continue to provide us with better data as we move closer to the event. And obviously, I'll update forecasts as well as we move closer to the event. But overall, this profile shows it's a bit warmer in the atmosphere. But we still have plenty of moisture to work with, and it's still below freezing. So we'll still go for snow on this. And as we move back to that 500 millibar height, you can see, oh, you can't really see it. I was hoping to show the trough here. So you aren't seeing as huge of a trough with this, so that's a sign that there just may not be as much lift. You still see that trough here, so it's still there, but it isn't quite as significant as the last, so that means we aren't getting as much lift in the atmosphere. So that means moisture will have a harder time condensing, forming a cloud, and thus precipitation. So this leads me to think that, okay, there's evidence to support lighter snow totals, and some forecasts have saw that have been 15 to 20 inches, which is good. As we look for moisture coming up before the event, we still have that moisture in the Gulf that has a small return, definitely less so in this model than the previous models. So that's something we'll also have to look out for, is the moisture return from the southeast. See if we get that Gulf moisture coming up. Let's move. Yeah. Okay, so what can we expect with this model? Well, let's move back into Oklahoma here. Let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures. You can see, oh, it's still going to be cold. Yes, we're confident it's going to be freezing cold, more than freezing cold, negative temperatures. Although this model doesn't get quite as cold, I do expect the GFS to be more accurate on the temperatures of the atmosphere. So we'll definitely see probably sub-zero temperatures for much of the state on Monday morning. So again, freezing cold, definitely don't recommend being out. Wind chills in the negatives, so not fun. Winds are still going to be around that 25-ish miles per hour, so nothing crazy, but definitely, so not looking at a blizzard type wind level with this. And as we look at the snowfall projection, looks like through Monday afternoon, this has the system coming in slow, which obviously affects everything else. This model is still spitting out 14 inches for Oklahoma City. You notice that the delayed timeline has brought the snow bands further to the south and east. So as the event drags on, it gets later and later. Expect that precipitation to move southeast. However, if it arrives earlier, the opposite will be true. We'll expect more precipitation in the northwestern part of the state into the Panhandle. So again, we're working out the exact positioning. These can shift a lot, definitely. Real quick, no ice, little ice in southeastern Oklahoma, so that's good. We don't need any more ice. We've had plenty of that. But general precipitation amounts range from 5 inches to about, what size I can find, 15 inches. Obviously, definitely more than we're used to, but definitely nothing unprecedented, historic, anything like that. You remember the Christmas Eve blizzard from like 2013, I believe? That was much worse than this system that's moving through. It will be cold, but we've also had similar coldness before. So, if you saw my post last night, that's what I was referencing. I don't think the NAM's going to get us right though, and it doesn't. So, this is for Sunday at 6 p.m. It's 8 inches, and then it's just starting southeastern Oklahoma at that time. If we compare that to other models, you can see it lines up pretty well, timing-wise. Okay, why did that? Let me get back down to the local level. You can see that the snow bands match up pretty well timing-wise. Intensity is a bit different. That's going to be your difference in the models. So, that's pretty much a quick look at the models and my opinions on them. But if we take a look at what we call the composite of the models through Thursday, you say, okay, this is for the end of the event into Tuesday morning, so it should have all the precipitation that we will see. We're only seeing 5 to 6 to 7 inch reading in here, and 3 inches to trace in southeastern Oklahoma. What gives? Well, so this kind of compiles different model outputs, blends them together into what each model typically specializes in, and weights them. So this is kind of what we get as an output. Nothing crazy on this output. And this is something that I trust a little bit more than each model individual. But I conversely, just how I think the other two are a bit too high, I think this is a bit too low. So what does that say? It's going 5 to 15 inches in Oklahoma City. Yeah, that's probably a good range to bet on right now, but I wouldn't bet on this. Let's take that ice look. No ice in Oklahoma. Temperatures, cold, negative to teens. Wind chills, negative teens. Okay. So, that's pretty much does it for the look at the models. Now, let's take a look at what the National Weather Service says. This is the National Weather Service forecast office in Norman. We'll take a look at the Tulsa one next, but these are some of the winter weather products they put out. And we'll look at this, what we call the expected snowfall. And this is what gives us the highest confidence of occurring. So as you can see, large portion of 8 to 12 inches in northwestern Oklahoma. Typically what we would expect on winter weather events, and lines up with that range I said, or minimum of about 5 inches, maximum of about 15 inches. As we move further to the south and east, 6 to 8 inches, 4 to 6 inches, it drops off quite rapidly. Higher end, this is kind of high-end amounts. So really what the National Weather Service Office is predicting right now, they think it has a 1 in 10 chance of happening, and we're going to see that 10% chance of happening. So basically, if you run all the variables through 100 times, about 10 times you'll get this or higher, is basically what this map is saying. So 9 inches 8 inches, 7 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches. Now, if we look at the minimum end, so 90 out of 100 times, this event is expected to occur. At least 2 inches in Durant, 4 inches to 5 inches for much of the state, and around Oklahoma City, but right now the model is saying, okay, the bands could set uphill. We're looking at 6 inches. So this is almost your bottom range, what we are currently expecting to happen. So take with that what you will. Prepare for at least this, but honestly, prepare for this. This is probably what's most likely to happen now, based on models, based on the history of them underrepresenting moisture in these events lately. So take a look here if you're in the Norman office range. Again, we'll switch to Tulsa here in a bit, but 8 to 12 inches for much of northwestern Oklahoma. As it moves south and east, it drops off to 6 to 8, and 4 to 6 inches in the southeast part of the forecast office. One more thing on this page, actually 2 more things. Chance of at least measurable snowfall, 100%. We're gonna get snow. Woo! Bad news is it may be more than we want. Now, 1 inch or more snow, pretty darn likely for most of Oklahoma. 90 to 100%. 2% Durant, 42% Durant, 83% much of the state, 100%. 4%, 45% Durant, so flip of the coin, but most overall at least 80% chance of getting at least 4 inches. As we move to 6 inches, precipitation drops off, 6% Ardmore, no chance in Durant. Flip of the coin in Ada, Frederick, Wichita Falls, 80% for much of the state until you get to Woodward, where it's only a 60% chance of seeing at least 6 inches of snow. 8 inches, 37% in OKC. Most everywhere else negligible except for Guthrie to Enid, where we again think bands might set up now. That's almost a flip of the coin. 12 inches, we aren't really confident that there will be 12 inches anywhere, and 18 inches as well. Real quick, I'll throw this up on the screen. Snowfall totals by location. This is an experimental product, but just take a look at this real quick. I'll leave it on the screen for about a minute. But this really gives you a low-end snowfall estimate, expected snowfall estimate, and a high-end snowfall estimate. Lots of 5 to 7 to 8 to 9s in there. I'll share a link to this. You can even go in and select what county you want to look at for the most part. So if I look at Colorado, it pulls up Ardmore. Comanche, Lawton. So it's just kind of fun to look at. So what we're going to do now is wrong link. We'll go to Tulsa, which doesn't quite have the same page layout. Actually, close enough. Except they don't have, this is for now through the 14th, now through Valentine's Day evening. So there's that chance for about an inch of snow. That's interesting. For the 16th through 18th, they do have a 12-inch graphic up. Tulsa is a little bit more bullish on the forecast, apparently. 91% chance of 12 inches in Tulsa. Roswell 77. This was updated today at 1:45 a.m. So yeah, that's not going to be the most up-to-date forecast for that. I thought they would be updated, but apparently they are not. As we move back to Norman, these were updated more recently at 5:30 this evening. So a little bit more recent forecast, a little later data. Let's go back. Okay. here's a little bit different forecast graphic. This is one that's human produced. So 8 to 12 inches in northwestern. This was up there at 424, 6 to 8 in southeastern Oklahoma, and 4 to 6 farther east to Ardmore and Durant. Dangerous wind chills. This is the minimum right now. Negative 21 degrees. As a low wind chill, which is crazy cold. Dangerous to skin. Frostbite is definitely a concern. As you can see, there's a chance of snow each and every day this week, with your big events coming Sunday into Monday. And as far as when we might see above freezing temperatures, by Thursday of next week, we may finally start to crawl out of the freezing temperature hole. So buckle up, it's going to be cold for the next little while. But what we're going to talk about now, kind of start to wrap things up. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat, and I'll answer them. But we're going to take a look at this winter weather, winter storm watch, which will later be upgraded into a winter storm warning. The text for this is 5 to 8 inches of accumulation possible. Sometimes the snow will make driving difficult. Well, it will make driving difficult. Roads will become snow covered. I can guarantee you that roads are going to be cold. It hasn't gone above freezing for a while, so obviously safe. Good news is we won't have that layer of ice that we typically have, so things will start to get. Hold on, my music started. Hold on. Sorry, my music's playing. There we go. Don't know what happened now. So yeah, we won't have that layer of ice that we typically have under the snow. So that will allow snowplows to actually do work and get most of the snow off before it turns to ice. So good news there. Bad news is it's Oklahoma. We don't get a lot of snow so often, so the snowplow crews will be a little rusty, I guess. Obviously, it's trying to plow down the road, but clearing them efficiently, obviously, we don't get enough practice with that. So, yeah. That's basically what I have. We'll take a look at Oklahoma City. You have that winter storm watch, 7 to 10 inches for the Oklahoma City area. Your wind chill advisory for sub-teen wind chills. We move towards Alva and Woodward. Again, the same advisories. 7 to 10 inches of snow. Wind chills 10 to 25 degrees below zero Sunday into Monday morning. And we'll look up at the Tulsa metro area. They actually have a winter weather advisory in effect for 6 a.m. Friday into 3 a.m. to in effect until 6 a.m. Friday, so tonight. Basically, lake effect snow. So this is actually interesting. Basically, winds hitting one of the lakes just right up there, and it's causing lake effect snow. Up to 1 inch may fall from there. You don't see lake effect snow too often in Oklahoma. Normally it's something like Lake Kavanaugh causing this, which we could see with the winter weather event, providing additional bands there. Slippery commute tomorrow morning in Tulsa. They do have a special weather statement. A strong upper-level storm system is expected to move across the region Sunday into Monday, drawing moisture over a deepening and very cold Arctic air mass. As a result, several inches of snow is expected and can be heavy at times. The snow, combined with gusty north winds, will create a lot of blowing and drifting of snow and dangerous travel conditions. In addition, there is some potential for power outages with ice on power lines from the recent icing events. It's still too early to get too specific with amounts and locations. Okay, that's the gist of it. Again, that pretty much sums up this whole video, whole live stream. Basically, what you've seen is our best guess right now. Prepare for 8, 9, 10 inches of snow in most areas. But be aware it could be a little bit heavier than that. But it could also weaken. We could see less than that. But that's what I would plan on right now. Power outages. Basically, look up at the power lines in the morning if they're icy. Be prepared for possible power outages. Obviously, stock up on what you need for the few days by through Tuesday. And then hopefully by then we're talking about warmer weather, snow melting off, and everything getting back to normal. Whatever normal is in early 2021. So thank you for watching. I'll update with a forecast graphic maybe tomorrow evening on snow amounts. If not, look for it Saturday morning. Other than that, be safe, stay warm. Getting off. Bye.